What's up, everybody? Welcome. I'm Matt Iulo, owner of Scalp Micro USA, and today I'm here with my New York-based crew, and we're here to have a really good conversation about all things scalp micropigmentation and hair loss. We know many of you are coming across scalp micropigmentation for the first time, maybe have some questions, want to understand the process a bit more, so that's what today is about, so make sure you stay tuned. Before we get started, I'll have everyone introduce themselves.
Max Fierro.
I'm Sosna.
Ken Boyle.
So to kick things off, I know for many of them, it's probably the first time that they're coming across scalp micropigmentation. They're probably excited because it is, for us, an amazing hair loss solution. I thought we'd start by, just at a high level describing what scalp micropigmentation is and, what it can achieve.
Well, scalp micropigmentation is pretty much a cosmetic tattoo that replicates hair density at a shaved down level, so it looks like you have a nice full shaved head of hair.
And to add a little color, like what have you seen scalp micropigmentation not only do for yourself, because obviously you have the treatment, but for the clients that you work with?
My clients, they walked out with a different walk. They got their confidence back, and it's life-changing for them. I've seen grown men cry, especially, like alopecia guys, guys with skin condition, then it really helped them out.
It's crazy kind of how powerful the scalp micropigmentation transformation can be, right?
Yes.
For some that are out there, they think hair loss, what's the big deal? Or, just live with it or just shave your head. But we know going through that and with the clients that we work day in and day out with that, there is something there. There is something about having a younger, more enhanced look. Sure. So if someone is suffering from hair loss, there's nothing necessarily wrong with taking action on that. So you mentioned, grown men crying or happy tears or walking a little taller. Do you notice that too, Mike?
100%. I definitely can see that. Every client, they walk out, they're so happy. I know exactly how it feels. I was a client once upon a time, so I know exactly what they're going through, and it's a great feeling.
I've had young guys come in to me who are in consultation, and it's like they can't even look me in the eye. They have hats on, they're answering one-word, responses to my questions, and they come back in, after treatment's done, they decide to go through the procedure, and they come back in a few years later for a touch-up, and it's like, who is this person walking through off the elevator? It's like chest out, confidence, they're like, you've restored something in that person that just was lost when their hair left.
Yeah, well, that's the big word you used was confidence, and that's like a theme for us since we've gotten into this is, yeah, the look is incredible. You guys are seeing it. You're seeing our testimonials and the before and afters online. And so the look is a great aesthetic, but it's also that boost of self-esteem, that confidence, which actually translates probably, to be honest, just as much as the look, right? Getting this also translates everything else, and that confidence that you walk with is a big thing. You mentioned, we can kind of get into some of the questions that I'm sure a lot of the viewers have about touch-up. So those that are looking into this, you go through your scalp micropigmentation treatment, you get your hairline back, you get your density back. We'll talk about the different applications for that, but how far out typically do clients come back in for a touch-up? Because this is what I would classify as semi-permanent. It's gonna last a long time. It's a long-term solution, but we do have gentlemen and women that'll come back for what we call touch-ups. How often do they usually come back?
Typically about 4 to 5 years. Everybody's different, but you say the lifespan's about 4 to 5 years for most clients.
Yeah, I noticed I had this for 12 years. My first touch-up was about 4 years after.
Me as well.
Those initial sessions.
Yeah,
and
same for me.
Still looking good, still holding up nice.
I have clients that are just coming back to me now, 7 years later after I've done these guys when I first started working, and they're coming back and they still look incredible.
Looks great,
it's
right?
kind of really nice.
Yeah, and so I think that's one of the big features of what we do is that we are providing a longer term solution and something that doesn't require a lot of ongoing maintenance. That's obviously what I really love a lot about it. What about you? Having the treatment yourself, maybe talk about like your routine and how you like that.
So basically, I shave my head with clippers, razor. It all depends, how I'm feeling. Usually about like 4 days, 3-4 days.
Every 3 to 4 days.
Yeah, sometimes just twice a week. Before I was shaving it every day because I'm trying to hide this horseshoe hairline I had. And now I'm not hiding anything anymore. Because now actually, with a little bit of stubble, you don't have to cut it so close anymore. A little bit of stubble actually creates some color. It makes it look even better.
Yeah, and for those that maybe haven't cut their hair or maybe still holding onto their longer hair but are dreaming of the day that they can just buzz it off with a clipper, like what does that entail for you in the morning? Like what does that actually look like? Is that 20 minutes, 10 minutes? What is it?
I'm my own barber. It takes me under a minute. You know,
You're
under a minute.
It's a little faster than me, man. I'm about 3 or 4 minutes, but yeah,
me
we're
too.
still talking pretty quick.
If I'm doing my beard, yeah, it's gonna take a little longer. You know, but if I'm just
got that
shaving my
nice
head,
fade going
yeah,
on,
I gotta
too.
keep my beard nice.
And practice makes perfect. Once you get it down and you learn the routine, it takes less time to brush your teeth than it does to shave your head, or shave your head than it does to brush your teeth.
Yeah. So Ken, a good way to piggyback off, you mentioned that you had your treatment for 7 years. I think it'd be great for those viewing to kind of understand the longevity of this. We talked about touch-ups maybe every 4 or 5 years, but how long have you all had your procedures? I know, Ken, you said 7 years?
I'm 6 now.
Yeah, 4 years.
4 years. And I'm the dinosaur. I've had it 12 years coming up in May, actually. 12 years. I've had a few touch-ups, obviously, in that time span, but a lot of those that are just discovering scalp micropigmentation, one of the concerns that they might have is, well, how is it going to age? What is it going to look like in 7, 8 years? Is it going to discolor? Is it going to be blobbed, or any of these things that sometimes they worry about with like your traditional tattoos? Obviously, I always say come and check it out in person, because you'll see what we mean when it really holds the test of time, how we color match and how we manipulate the black pigment to match short cut hair, or even longer hair fill-ins that we do. We maybe don't dilute as much, but because it's carbon based, because it's black, we can fall within the color spectrum of most hair colors and skin types. And that's a big thing to understand, is that we're not going as deep as what maybe you have on your arm, the traditional sleeves, right?
Yeah.
So that's a big difference between what we do and traditional tattoos. A lot of people we see in the comments, is it just a tattoo, or just go to your tattoo artist? What is, you guys you're inked up. I'm still actually not inked, only up on my head, but what have you noticed some of the key differences between traditional tattoos and scalp micropigmentation?
One is pain. Pain is completely irrelevant, with getting a scalp tattoo versus.
What have you found what's more discomforting?
Well, yeah, the regular tattoos are very discomforting. Dragging the needles here, we're just kind of giving you little pokes, so it's not.
Is that the depth level's different, right?
Depth level's different. We're going down 2 millimeters, so it's not as deep. It's it's definitely less painful.
Yeah,
than a regular tattoo.
I wouldn't know, but that's what I hear routinely. I think you talked about like depth level technique-wise too, right? Like we're doing a slightly different technique than what a lot of shading is.
For sure. Yeah, regular tattoo, obviously they're dragging a needle. They want to make some strokes. They want to make lines. We're just doing a little pointillism just to do a little dots, tiny little dots to replicate the follicle.
Lots of tiny little dots.
Tiny little dots.
Yeah, and that's the goal, is to add that density, add a tight, density that matches your existing hair density, so everything blends and is pretty seamless throughout there.
What we're doing is only going to the first 2 layers. A couple of reasons to do that is because we don't want migration of the pigment, okay? We need to make very crisp, very precise impressions to replicate what the surrounding hair follicle is. So going too deep will allow that pigment to migrate in the skin. So we're just doing tiny, quick little flicks of the needle to replicate, what people's hair density is.
Yeah, top layer of the dermis. So for those that maybe didn't pay attention in biology and anatomy class, which I didn't until I got into this, obviously, we're going into the top layer of the dermis, which sits right below the epidermis, which we all know the epidermis, that's what we see as skin. That's our outer layer. We're depositing pigments only into that top layer of the dermis, which again allows us to get that retention, allows us to get that color match without it looking too inky or over time starting to migrate like we see with traditional tattoos, because over time those can start to spread a little bit. If you were someone that was new to this, you're looking for an artist to work with, I know you actually just recently got a tattoo, so maybe it's a similar process, but what would you be looking for in your scalp micropigmentation artist to make sure that they're qualified to do it? I
mean, usually when I get any work done, obviously I look at photos first. Reviews is very big for me as well, but the biggest thing is the portfolio. That really goes a long way for me. If I see what I like, you're my guy. Same for you. I looked at your photos, look at my head, it's perfect.
Yeah, so you're looking at their page, like what, their Instagram page?
I'm just looking at the portfolio.
What else would you maybe like look for? Like if you were doing a consultation, would you?
I would be looking definitely on Google reviews. I want to see what other people's experiences were. And definitely portfolio. I want to see your work.
What do you recommend they do a consultation?
100%. I think consultations are important. It allows your technician to get a handle on the circumstances they're working with. Not everybody's the greatest photographer, and I've seen some photos that I've looked at through the computer that people submit in, and I'm like, I don't even know what I'm looking at.
When you're assessing the photo.
Yeah, when I'm assessing the photo, it's just like, you know,
Yeah.
sometimes it's just like, I don't know what you want done, you know? So being in person with them is great, because like I can inspect an area, they can talk to me in detail, I can see, again, it's maybe skin condition, you know, because like we talked about, like the depth is important. So if your skin is very damaged, you know, a lot of times I can tell you some things or help someone out to get their skin in the best condition so they can get the best quality end result that they're hoping for.
I always say that as scalp micropigmentation artists, your skin is our canvas, and the better that canvas is to do our artwork, the better. And I do echo your thoughts that if possible, do an in-person consultation or a FaceTime consultation even, just so that you're able to kind of ask those questions, get a good vibe and rapport with your prospective practitioner, and really understand the process. They can maybe touch on things that you weren't aware of or that maybe you couldn't get from just doing some light online research. I really always think a consultation is a great precursor to any type of treatment.
And not to mention, you know, when you're doing a consultation, you know, we all have it done. You know, so you can actually see it in person, see what it looks like, see what you're gonna get, you know, and yeah, that's definitely very.
That's big. When we have clients come in, we like, you know, we're lucky that we have a lot of stations operating. We have a lot of clients in and out, but you'll take your consultation and show the work being done and show the whole process. So we all know someone that's probably holding on to their hair for a little bit too long. When do you think it's a good time for someone to really consider doing scalp micropigmentation? Do they have to be completely bald? Could it be someone that's starting to see a receded hairline? When do you think it's a good time for someone to really maybe do that consultation we talked about?
I mean, do the consultation as soon as you notice it. I mean, it'll leave the door open for you to get it done when you think it's time. But if you're noticing it, it's time.
When someone comes in, maybe starting to notice a receding hairline or their crown getting thin, I don't think that's too early, because I know when I first had my treatment done, I actually still had a little bit of hair up top, and the SMP kind of complemented that hair nicely. And as I continued to bald, unfortunately, but it was a smooth transition. What about those that are, you know, completely bald, maybe been bald for decades? Is it too late for them?
No, that was me.
Definitely not.
Yeah, right?
Run into our clinic. I wish I would have done it earlier. I wish I would have known about this 10 years before.
what everybody says.
'Cause I hid under a hat for 10 years, and it affected my life in such a profound manner that now I know what it's like after having it done. Man, I wish I had this 10 years before. I really, my life would be
We hear that
a different
we hear
place.
that a lot.
All the time.
We hear that a lot. I mean, everyone comes to a hair loss solution or hair loss remedies their own path, and some take a little bit longer, and that's fine. You know, do your research, take your time, have those conversations. But I'll tell you right now, every client that we've had, one of the biggest themes is, I wish I did this years ago.
100%, 100%. And that's like, as a practitioner's point of view, is one of the most satisfying things when your client comes back in for a touch-up, or, you know, you see them maybe out in a social setting, and like the promotions at work, the girlfriends they've achieved, the scenarios that they wish they would have been able to do because they were afraid to go in a pool or not wear a hat or go out to a club because the club doesn't allow hats in there, or, you know, all these different scenarios that for myself for 10 years went avoiding circumstances like that. It's just like, your life would end up in such a different place if you just do it and get it done and just forget about it. It's a non-issue, you know? And that's what it is to me. People ask me all the time, like, what's it like having it? It's like, it's just not an issue anymore. You're not thinking about it. You can go about your life the way it should be.
Yeah, we get a lot of clients that actually, oh, can you guys do like that barbershop fade, or can you do that barbershop lineup? How do we achieve that?
What we do is just, you know, we start from the top with tight density, and then we kind of open the density as we get a little lower, keep opening density, and as we get down lower, it kind of trickles away and looks like the fade.
Yeah, so what you used to do with a clipper, we can do with how much density or how much color we add. As
so
we
a 0, half, 1, same thing. We're just kind of doing it with the dots instead.
Replicate the same thing. Yeah. And you've blessed our office with all the latest and greatest barber clippers, because believe it or not, we cut a lot of hair in office, because some guys that come see us, they never cut their hair, or they don't want to necessarily cut their hair before coming in. They want to do it as a whole big transformation. But yeah, I know that you came from the barbering background as well. How have you found that transition?
It made it a lot easier, especially with drawing the hairlines. Like you said, the blending. You know, same thing. Now we're doing beards. You know, and that's cool. Yeah, I love doing the beards.
So for all of us, like we talked about, we have scalp micropigmentation, but it's because obviously we suffered hair loss. And I remember the days early college when I was going through hair loss, stressing, looking at solutions, remedies, pills, potions, all those things that can maybe help the situation. I've tried hair fibers. I looked into hair transplants. It just wasn't something I was going to do for a number of reasons. But let's talk maybe about scalp micropigmentation and how it compares and the pros or cons against some of these other remedies. Actually, have any of you ever used any of the other stuff that's on the market, like those fibers or anything like that?
I've used it all. Fibers, Rogaine, I've had the Nioxin shampoos, conditioners.
Shampoo.
I've done biotin. I've massaged the scalp. Everything they said was supposed to work, nothing worked.
The scalp massage feel good though, right?
Yeah, it felt good, but
No extra hair.
it didn't obviously work. But SMP, guaranteed results.
What about you?
Yeah, same. I did the Rogaine. I did the fibers. At some point, I was even dyeing my hair because it would get light in the summer, and the hair dye would actually dye my scalp, so it'd be a little bit more permanent. Yeah, that was a little trick I
But
used.
what it's doing to your skin up there, who
and
knows?
that, and then
Yeah.
and it's it just, you seen it. It didn't look right. It just was one solid color.
Yeah.
I know.
Yeah, I remember I was using, like when it was starting to thin, I was using some of the hair fibers, and yeah, I'd get a few hours out of it, and then I kept losing more hair, probably because one of whatever the genetics or the reason I was losing my hair, but also that stuff was not great on my skin. It was clogging my pores, it was causing an inflammation on the scalp, which many of us know inflammation, whether systemic or local to the scalp, can actually exasperate hair loss. So it just wasn't healthy for my scalp, and it was becoming a losing game. Mike touched on this. It is an immediate result type treatment what we do. Even after just the first session, you're going to see a change, right, Ken?
Absolutely. It's nice when you're getting ready, to not have to worry about it. It's all shaved and, down. It's just literally wash and go. But for myself, I never used any of those products. As soon as I noticed the hair loss, it was shaved head for me. And I just hid it under a hat for years.
Yeah.
So I was already shaving down. So for me, it wasn't, I guess it was a big transformation, but I was used to it. I was already shaving my head.
Because we talk about people that maybe are starting to lose their hair, they cut down. But like you said, you were already shaved. Yeah, you were hiding under a hat, but some people would see you probably bald. Like, you always tell me the story about I think your sister or your friend that didn't even know you had it done.
Yeah, my sister. I literally, after I got this treatment done, our kids were hanging out, and she walked in to pick up her son and looked at me and was like, "What's different about you?" And I did, in fairness, just have come back from vacation, so tans always look good. She was stopped, and I didn't know what to say. It was kind of like the first scenario of like someone recognizing that something was different. She was just like, "I don't know what it is, but you look really good." She's like, "Maybe it's your tan. You always look good with a tan." And that was it. It was like, after she left, I was like mind boggled. I'm like, how does this girl who I took care of for years not know that like I have a full head of hair now? And it wasn't until years later I was actually telling her boyfriend over dinner, like, "Hey man, don't worry about losing your hair. Like, I got you, And I was like, "Dude, this is all tattoo pigment." And like, she literally dropped her plate in front of me, and she was like, "That's what's different?" She's like, "This whole time, like, I had no idea."
Yeah.
And that's my own sister.
Yeah, we hear stories like that all the time. It's crazy, people's wives, best friends, they, don't know it until you either tell them or, they see a difference. I always say, I gotta, trademark this phrase, but that it makes a subtle, drastic difference. And it's an oxymoron, but it makes sense because it's subtle enough that it's not going to stop traffic. It's not going to catch someone's eye. They're not going to be, "Holy moly, what did you do?" But it does make a difference to your appearance. The framing of your face with the hairline, the color, the getting rid of that pattern hair loss, the crown. It definitely brings youth back. It brings enhancement to your look, but it's not over the top. You're not coming out with, John Travolta's Saturday Night Fever hair. So it's subtle enough, but drastic enough at the same time, if that makes sense. So we touched on hair fibers and adding powder to your hair to thicken up that look. Another solution that has been on the market for a while is hair transplantation. We're actually seeing a lot of guys fly over to Turkey to get them done. I guess they do it cheaper. Why hair transplant recipients come to see us for scalp micropigmentation, the good, the bad, the ugly, whatever it may be, as far as what we can do as scalp artists to enhance or fix, hair transplant scarring and density and all that. Ken?
I have a lot of clients that have had these transplants done that obviously aren't happy with it.
Why would that be? Why would that be? What do you say?
What ends up happening a lot is they don't get the density or the fullness to wear the look that they were used to having. And then it's kind of trapped them into a circumstance where now they have a scar that's underlying in the surrounding hair area, like in the donor area. And now they're afraid to actually shave their head down because now it's going to reveal this scar or the mistake that they feel like that they made. So I actually specialize in a lot of, doing the scar work. We could do great camouflage in that area. It could, if some of these guys want to hold on to some of the hair transplant that they've got, we do a really fantastic job of adding density to make it look like it's fuller and they've gotten more from a transplant than they actually did.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, we could help out a lot in that.
Scar camouflage is great for those that either didn't yield a lot from the hair transplant or just tired of keeping longer hair and want to, at least the flexibility to cut down, but don't want to expose either the strip scar or the FUE, which is, the newer type of transplant procedure that a lot of people are doing, especially overseas, which the scarring is a little more minimal, but with the amount of grafts that are being taken, when you do cut down, it leaves the back very depleted. So we can cover those with pigment as well. So when they cut down, that back part of the head doesn't look eaten alive or have any, massive scarring. And I know, Mike, you do a lot of fill-ins for hair transplant clients as well.
Sure. Yeah. Like Ken said, most of the clients who had a transplant are lacking in density. So we're just increasing density to make the transplant look better. Obviously fill the scarring as well.
Do they have to necessarily, for the guys that maybe do still have a good amount of hair, whether it's their natural hair or from the transplant, it depends what lengths they want to keep, but we can fill that in, right?
Yeah, we can fill it in. If you leave it short, you leave it longer. We just adjust the color a little bit. But yeah, you can fill it in. You can definitely fill it in.
So an exciting part of what we do is restoring the hairline. That's probably like the most artistic part and the most exciting part for the client, because for many of them, at least the bald gentlemen that have receded back, it's been a while since they saw a correct framing to their face. I just want to maybe touch on the different styles, the different types of hairlines we could create, whether you're someone that's looking for a very bold, youthful look or want something a little more understated, a little bit softer and natural. Maybe touch on some of the hairlines that we as scalp artists can create for people.
We can create any type of hairline they desire. I always tell them to do a little bit of research, see what fits them, the best, and then come in and we're going to draw something and we'll sit there as long as it takes. We'll draw something, we'll agree on something, and something more youthful, something natural. If they want a widow's peak, if they want to, we can actually create a scar on the hairline to make it, to make it look a little more natural. And
what would you describe like your hairline as? If people
mine's more on the natural side. I don't have any hard edges, so it's rounded, all rounded edges, and I have zero up top.
Yeah,
you tattooed it, so you know.
But it don't look that way, yeah.
No.
Yeah.
One of the funniest things I've noticed is when we sit a client down for their first session and we start that hairline mapping process, one of the first things I'll ask is, so what type of hairline are you going for? What is the first word that they say?
Natural.
Everybody natural,
right?
Natural.
But natural can mean something different to everyone. When I hear natural, I think a little contour, a little curve, maybe slight recession, a little bit broken at the edge of the hairline so it's not too crispy.
Soft.
But they're, like you said, for that 25-year-old, natural for them could be, a nice clean barber cut with, clean profile lines. So, Mike, you what do you think?
Yeah, same thing. Same as you said. You got to go for the person. It's got to fit that right person. Age appropriate is key.
And do they get a chance to adjust that hairline through the process?
Yeah, we can always adjust it. If we went a little linear, kind of like mine, if you wanted to soften, we can kind of break up the hairline by just, dispersing the pigment out, just breaking up the density.
Maybe talk a little bit about, for most clients, they're going to be needing 2 to 3 sessions to kind of achieve what they see on our head. Talk about why we do it that way.
Your canvas is always different. Everyone's skin is different.
Sure.
So, we went make some impressions on one guy and he comes back and it's just like we just left it, 2 weeks ago.
Right.
And then the other guy, it faded down. His skin didn't retain as well.
Right.
So, we want to build up the color also. So you want to start conservative with the colors.
It's for safety. Mm-hmm. It's to let them grow into it. And frankly, it can't be done in one session. And anyone that tells you it can be done in one session is leading you down a path you probably don't want to go, is, again, probably being overly aggressive on skin that they're not sure how it's going to retain, and is not allowing for the inevitable slight fading of that pigment. Right. skin and your immune system has a way of wanting to heal. And after just one session, there will be some healing. There will be some small areas that maybe need a little bit of retouching. There may be some changes you need to do with your hairline or with the blending. We need to allow for that. So anyone that's saying this is a one and done is not right. However, within 2, possibly 3 sessions, you have that end result. And those are only a couple weeks apart, those sessions. So you're getting a really fast result. And we're gonna make sure that you have a treatment that stands the test of time. So I thought it'd be cool to maybe touch on a memorable client you worked with, a memorable case. We work with a lot of men and women, and it's always rewarding in its own way, but I at least know someone that comes to mind when I think of one of the more powerful treatments that I got to do. What about you, Ken? Is there anybody that comes to mind?
Yeah, there's a few. I mean, you know, each client that comes in has their own qualities, their own characteristics that they kind of leave a little bit of an impression on us. Some better than others. I've had some clients that maybe not even just, you know, a transplant that didn't take for them or, you know, balding, but like there's people that have been in some accidents, you know, there's also some alopecia circumstances that, you know, you create a transformation in these people's lives. And, you know, like I had a police officer that was involved in an accident. And if you're watching the video, I'm sure you know who you are, but like, I've literally had almost every other person that has suffered from hair loss in their precinct come in and have work done after.
From that person.
From that one client. And he had, you know, he had brain surgery, you know, from the injury that he had. And you cannot see his scars afterwards. Like, you know, I mean, I wasn't a part of their celebration and like all that stuff, but like this is a guy who couldn't work after his accident, you know, that they actually worked together, you know, within their precinct to get this guy, you know, the work done to restore his confidence and to, you know, to get his head back into, you know, the shape that he's comfortable in. And like, I've heard about the parties and, you know, all the things that have happened for him since then. It's just to know that like I was a part of that process and help that along. It feels really good.
And what's cool is he had it done, and now he's kind of paying it forward to the other guys in his precinct or in his life, and now they're getting a treatment that's hopefully affecting and changing their life in a positive way. So it kind of spitballs and snowballs. What about you, Mike?
I've had one client that I really felt deep to my heart. He was in his 20s. He had alopecia all over, spots all over. His whole life he had it.
Yeah.
He said that, you know, growing up was brutal for him. He was very, you know, didn't want to go to school, you know, stuff like that. So after we did the 3 sessions on him, like, he couldn't even hold the tears back. And honestly, I think I might have teared up with him a little bit because I felt his body. I just felt the energy coming off him, and I just felt right.
You said he was 20. He was only like 20 years old.
Yeah, he was in young 20s.
So he's getting ready to go to either school or start a career. And
yeah, and he was just like, you know, everybody just really makes it even harder for him, you know. And it's a hard thing to deal with, the alopecia already, on top of people talking about you. So, you know, for me to be able to help him like that feels really good.
That's awesome. Yeah, the alopecia cases are really rewarding. One that comes to mind for me, actually, I did only a couple years ago. He actually did a testimonial for us. Shout out to Neil. I've been doing this for 12 years, so I've had a lot of amazing clients and great stories, and it's been a blessing of my career, my second part of my life to be able to do this. But yeah, Neil comes to mind right now. He's a guy that came up from Florida. He had gone through a lot in his prior years to coming to see me. Dealing with certain addictions, dealing with certain depression and things of that nature that were really affecting him. And he was starting to really lift himself out a lot of that, starting to go on a really good path, and came to me. You know, he had pretty much full baldness. Again, you could probably check out his testimonial on our channel. And he came up to me for a few sessions. Just, you can tell as soon as you meet someone like this, such a good heart. So no matter what dark places he had been in, such a good soul and a good heart. And it was a pleasure working with him, getting that transformation for him to help continue his right path. And even more pleasant when, even through that process, he had just started dating someone new. Maybe a few months after that treatment, I'm in the gym one day and I just get a text, like you say, stay in touch with a lot of these guys, and I get a text and it had a whole, thank you, all that great stuff that really means a lot. But what meant even more was the photo of him proposing to that girl, who is now his wife. And it was great. I mean, his head looked great in the engagement photos, I'll say that. Just an incredible one, and he's just one that I'll always remember. And I hope he's doing well, and I have so many clients, you know, in similar situations or have their own paths that they go on. But yeah, it's fun. That's one of the fun things about what we do is we get to work with real people day in and day out, build that rapport, and have an effect on their life, whether this is just a small part of it or is a big part of getting them into a better place. It's super rewarding, and that's just one of the things that scalp micropigmentation can do. Getting a solution to your hair loss can do is get your confidence right, get your mind right, and even if it helps you, you know, 2%, that's 2% in the right direction. So yeah, it's really cool.
I thought I was your favorite.
You're still my favorite, man. That's why you're here. I think it's been an awesome discussion about what we do as scalp micropigmentation artists, a little bit about the SMP procedure and why we think it's a great solution for men and women. I hope you all found it really informative and fun. We're going to do more of these on this channel, so make sure you subscribe and stay tuned. And you can follow all our Instagram accounts. If you go to Scalp Micro _USA on Instagram, you'll see a mix of all our work, not just in New York, but in all our locations. We also have locations in Los Angeles, Chicago, South Florida, and in Houston, Texas. So make sure you check that out. Again, scroll through our channel, check out all the videos, the testimonials, a lot of information here. It's been fun, guys. I thank you all for joining me in this, and yeah, I'm gonna see you all on Monday. Back to work, baby. Thank you, guys.
Thank you.